Good morning, children. We started chapter 7 of History Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. And first of all, we discussed about the very big kingdom that is empire, and we discussed about from where the Mauryan, dynasty, who founded the Mauryan dynasty. Then we talked about what is dynasty. Then how an empire was different from kingdoms. Then ruling the empire, how the empire was ruled. Now, children, we will start with Ashoka, a unique ruler. The next topic. Fine. So, why is Ashoka called a unique ruler, a different ruler? See, the most famous Mauryan ruler was Ashoka. Whenever you talk about Mauryan Empire, you are going to definitely talk about Ashoka. He was the first ruler who tried to take his message to the people through inscriptions. He was the first ruler who used to, give his message to the people through the inscriptions. He used to carve his messages on the rocks and walls like this. Okay? Most of the Ashoka's inscriptions were in Prakrit. So, which language he was using? He was using the Prakrit language, and we discussed in the previous chapter that Prakrit was the language of common people and were written in which script? Brahmi script. So, this language, the script was Brahmi script. Ashoka's war in Kalinga. Now, Ashoka's Kalinga war is very famous. See, Kalinga is an ancient name of coastal Orissa, children. Fine. Now Ashoka fought a war to just conquer this part which is Kalinga. And when he saw the outcome of the war, he won the war as well. Fine. But he was horrified. He was, stunned when he saw the violence and the bloodshed. When he saw the bloodshed in the war, he decided not to fight any more war. So, children, he was the only king in the history of the world who gave up conquest after winning a war. He won Kalinga, but he gave up that conquest. He never accepted that Kalinga. Why? Because he was very much, amazed, very much horrified, very much shocked to see the outcome of the war. What was the outcome of the war? Lot of people died, lot of bloodshed everywhere. So he left the war. He never fought any war after that. So Ashoka's inscription describing the Kalinga war. Now this is an inscription describing the Kalinga war. Now he declared that 8 years after becoming, I conquered. He tells about himself that I conquered Kalinga, and he, about 1.5 lakh people were captured. So many people were captured. So many people were killed. The place was full with sorrow. Now he himself was filled with sorrow to see this massive, destruction, and he conquered the land. After conquering, he saw that so many people they died. Brahmins, monks, whosoever came in the way, they all died. Now people, even those who were very kind to their relatives, their friends, their slaves, their servants, they all lost their loved ones. So he says that I believe in winning people through Dhamma. He says that I am not going to, fight any war. I am going to observe Dhamma, and I am going to teach people regarding this Dhamma. And he says that war is not the way to conquer people, to love, means to control someone. I think he thinks the Dhamma is the best way. So he says that I am inscribing this message for the future, so that my son, my grandson, they should also think in the same way as I am thinking to give up war. Now, he says that instead of war, they should try. He says that I am going to try to spread Dhamma as much as possible. I can. So, what is Dhamma, children? Dhamma is a Prakrit word which means dharma. Sometimes we say, na, it is my dharma to do this. So, Dhamma means dharma. Fine. So, now what was Ashoka's Dhamma? What Ashoka wanted to say in this? Ashoka's Dhamma did not involve worship of a god or performance of a sacrifice. So, he said that Dhamma does not mean just worshipping a god or sacrificing a life. Fine, he felt that just as a father tries to teach his children, he had the duty to instruct his subjects. So he says, just as a father, a mother, parents, they just, try to, tell their children something good about. So same way he says that it's my duty to instruct my subjects means to instruct my people. He was also inspired by the teachings of Buddha. You have seen in the previous chapter the teachings of Buddha. So this Ashoka was very much, inspired, very much attracted towards the Buddha's teaching. Fine. Now there were a number of problems that troubled him. Lot of things were just troubling him, tensing him. What were those? People in the empire followed different religions. People were following different religions, and this sometimes led to conflict because they belonged to different regions. So people used to fight among themselves. Animals were sacrificed. Fine, the Bali system was there. Animals were sacrificed. Slaves, servants were ill treated. So the treatment was not good with the slaves and servants. Fine. Besides, there was a quarrel in family and amongst the neighbors. So the people used to fight in between the family as well as with the neighbors. Ashoka felt it was his duty to solve these problems. So he just wanted to solve all these problems. So he appointed officials. For what he appointed the officials? They were known as the Dhamma Mahamata. Now, what was their work? Their work was to go from place to place teaching people about Dhamma, that this is your dharma, this is not good, this is bad. Besides, Ashoka got his messages inscribed on rocks and pillars, instructing his officials to read his message to those who could not read it themselves. So he also appointed officials, those who were reading the inscriptions, reading the messages for the common people. They were reading the messages for the people who does not know how to read, those who were illiterate. So the main motive of Ashoka was to spread peace everywhere. Fine. Ashoka also sent messengers to spread ideas about Dhamma to even the other lands such as Syria, Egypt, Greece, Sri Lanka. So at these places, his messengers, they went and they spread the messages of Dhamma, what Dhamma wants to tell. He built roads, he dug wells, he built rest houses. Besides, even he arranged the medical treatment for both human beings as well as animals. He opened hospitals also. Means he was not that kind of king or that kind of emperor. He was somewhat very different from the rest. Ashoka's messages to his subjects, what he used to say to his common people. People perform a variety of rituals when they fall ill, when their children get married, and when they are born, and when they go on a journey. So he says that you are, performing so many rituals whenever at every stage. These rituals are not useful. He used to say that these are not useful at all. If instead people observe other practices, this would be more fruitful. What are these other practices which he wanted to people to? He says that be gentle with slaves and servants, respect everyone, treat every people, every creature made by God, whether it's animals, birds, human beings, treat them nicely. Give gifts to Brahmins and monks. It is both wrong to praise one's religion and criticize another's. He used to say that just to praise your own religion and criticize others, this is not good at all. Each one should respect the other's religion. Fine, we should respect everyone. And one phrase one's own religion while criticizing another's, one is actually doing greater harm to one's own religion. If a person is criticizing other and praising his own religion, he is harming his own religion. Therefore, one should try to understand the main ideas of another religion and respect. So he used to say that we should always respect each other's religion. Find Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, what he says that the instructions given by Ashoka still speak to us in a language we can understand, and we can still learn much more from them. He says that the language he used, the instructions he gave, they are till date they are very helpful to us. Fine. So you can see this, modern Brahmi script. This is early Brahmi script, then Devanagari, then Bengali, then Malayalam, and then Tamil. Now come to the last topic, children, elsewhere. What was happening elsewhere? So, children, during this time only, when the Mauryan Empire was, there, that time China began building the Great Wall. Find the Great Wall of China. And why it was being made? Just to protect the northern frontiers of the empire by the pastoral people, the people who used to move with their herd of cattle. Fine. Now, additions period of 2000 years, because the frontiers of the empire kept shifting. Fine. So 2000 more years they required. The wall is about 6400 kilometer long and is made up of stone and brick with a road along the top. So it has a road on the top. Several thousand of people they worked to build this wall, children. And there are watchtowers. You can stop and watch watchtowers all along at a distance of 100 to 200 meters. Fine, children. So now come to the back exercises. Okay, no problem. We will discuss it afterwards. So this was all about the topic, children. Thank you and have a nice day.